The New England Patriots, they lost to the Texans 20-9, and there was a really special performance that we saw in this game, and his name was Malik Cunningham, aka Malik Air Cunningham, because when Malik Cunningham was in the game, he was looking a lot like Lamar Jackson and Steve Air McNair. Now, I don't know how many of you people remember Steve McNair. You got to be an OG fan of the NFL to remember Steve McNair, but that's kind of the player that Malik Cunningham kind of reminds me of. He reminds me of a blend of Lamar and Steve McNair. And he only had limited opportunity to be in the game as a quarterback. They had Trace McSorley in over him. And obviously, after this game, Trace McSorley should be demoted to the last quarterback on the depth chart behind Malik Cunningham after this performance. 3 or 4, 19 passing yards. He was robbed of a touchdown because Trey Nixon dropped one. It was a fantastic throw by Malik Cunningham. He gets outside the pocket and he throws a dime. And it was just a beautiful, well-thrown and well-placed ball where only Trey Nixon could get it with a defender draped all over him. And yet he drops it. But yet Malik Cunningham was still able to get a touchdown and was able to get some points on the board for New England because he's a really dynamic runner. And if you watched him at Louisville, you were probably comparing him to Lamar Jackson. You probably were saying that he was Lamar Jackson's 2.0. If Lamar Jackson had a long-lost cousin, you probably think it would be Malik Cunningham. And what really impressed me the most out of Malik Cunningham's performance is that he had Bill Belichick smirking on the sidelines. How often do we see Bill Belichick smile on the sideline, especially during a preseason game? Like, Bill Belichick was so happy to see Malik Cunningham going off. And anytime you see Bill Belichick smile, like, I don't get how it doesn't put a smile on your face, because how often do we see Bill Belichick smile? That's very rare. Looking forward to seeing what Malik Cunningham does for the next couple of preseason outings that we see him in. Now, they are playing him at wide receiver also. So maybe he ends up being a gadget player for New England. Maybe he ends up becoming a full-time wideout for the Patriots. But I would like to see him playing a little bit more quarterback, because I definitely think having Malik Cunningham on your roster as a QB will give you an advantage when it comes to scout team with all these dual threat quarterbacks that the Patriots have to match up against now. Malik Cunningham will give you a good look on the scout team. And then when you look at how Bailey Zappi played, he played pretty well in this game also. 12 of 14, 79 passing yards. He got sacked a few times, but he made really good decisions with the ball. He also like how when the play wasn't there, he didn't try to force anything. He didn't try to create anything. He just threw the ball away. So there's been a lot of growing that we've seen out of Bailey Zappi over the course of this offseason, and we saw that growth in this preseason game. Now, obviously, he's not going to be challenging Mac Jones for the starting quarterback spot, because Mac Jones didn't even play in this game at all. So obviously that shows us that Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick have seen enough out of Mac Jones that they pretty much have named him the starter. Not really officially, but you can kind of tell with him not participating in this game that they kind of have seen enough out of Mac Jones. Now, we will see him in the preseason at some point. We got to see how he looks in real game action. But Bailey Zappi has looked pretty impressive. And maybe Malik Cunningham, he makes the team, he becomes the Patriots backup, and maybe they can flip Bailey Zappi for a 4th or 5th round pick, because there's a team that doesn't really have their backup quarterback situation settled, and they're looking for a last-minute fix there. Maybe they could trade Bailey Zappi before week 1 of the regular season. Defensively, though, the New England Patriots defensive line, bruh, they have ridiculous depth. Ridiculous depth. I mean, oh my God. They were getting pressure on CJ Stroud nearly every time he dropped back to pass. And same thing for some of the other quarterbacks who were behind center. Now, although the offensive line play did get a little bit better for Houston as the game progressed, you had rookie Keon White, who was wreaking absolute havoc, bruh. They were lining this dude up everywhere on defense. This dude is a freak defensive lineman. And one thing that Bill Belichick does a very good job at is drafting really good defensive linemen. It doesn't matter if he drafts them in the first round, the second round, seventh round. Bill Belichick just has an eye for finding good interior defensive linemen, and Keon White might be the next stud on the Patriots defensive line. This dude is a freaking freak, man. He was everywhere, causing havoc, getting pressure on the QB. Like, oh my God. Like, this Patriots defensive line may be a tad underrated going into this season. This is one of the better defensive lines in the NFL, and they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And imagine if Matthew Judon would have played in this game, or Christian Barmore would have suited up for a lot of snaps in this game. It kind of would have gotten a little bit ugly for C.J. Stroud. Now, Jalen Mills was my player of the game. Even though the Patriots didn't win, if they were giving out player of the game awards, I would have gave it to Jalen Mills because he made a really nice interception on C.J. Stroud. Really good read, and he made some nice plays around the line of scrimmage also. And he's trying to compete for a starting job on this Patriots defense. And you got to be really impressed with what you saw out of Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin, in this game. Now, I got a big concern with the Patriots running back depth. Behind Ramondre Stevenson, they don't really have anybody that has shown any promise that they can be a number 2 option behind him. And there's a reason why they've been flirting with signing Dalvin Cook and having interest in Leonard Fournette. And you can see that in this game, that their running back position is lacking depth. And one thing about Bill O'Brien is that he puts a lot of emphasis on running the football. And over the last couple of years, the Patriots have always had 2 or 3 running backs on the roster that has certain roles. They'll have the RB1, and then they'll have a RB2 who gets a lot of carries up the middle, and then they'll have a scat back who's good at catching passes out of the backfield. But you don't really know if you have a lot of running backs on this roster at this moment who are able to fill those roles. I don't think they have a clear-cut number 2 right now behind Stevenson, and I don't even know if they have a great pass-catching option at running back. The Patriots running back depth is a little concerning, and I expect them to sign a running back within the next couple of days. Now, I don't know if they're going to sign Ezekiel Elliott or Leonard Fournette, but they need an extra body in that running back room, because what I saw last night outside of Ramondre, it's looking really thin at running back for New England.